noted in our top story tonight that some of the possible witnesses against the former president in his classified documents trial will be people whose names you may not know, but who were certainly in his orbit. That is also the case in another investigation, this time in Arizona, involving the alleged fake elector scheme to overturn the 2020 election. The state's Democratic Attorney General just spoke to CNN about the investigation, about which little is known, only that it follows in the path of similar prosecutions in Michigan and Georgia. Our Kyung-la also tried to speak to some of the people who claimed to actually be electors for Arizona back in 2020. I want to show you how that went. Here's Kyung-la's report.
At a rally for the 2024 U.S. Senate race, Arizona candidate Kari Lake.
I'm not going to let a guy who's trying to imprison his political opponent call me or you a threat to democracy.
One of the country's top spreader of lies about the 2020 election results.
God bless State 48.
We find in her crowd Arizona State Senator Anthony Kern.
Hello, Mr. Kern.
Hi, good to see you.
Kyung-la from CNN.
Hi.
You may not recognize Kern at first glance, but this is him here at the signing, a video tweeted by the Arizona Republican Party on December 14th, 2020, when 11 fake electors gathered weeks after the 2020 election to sign this document claiming to be duly elected and qualified to cast Arizona's 11 electoral votes for
Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida, number of votes 11.
But Trump lost Arizona in 2020.
We are taking it very seriously.
Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays wants to know more about these fake electors.
We are in the middle of our investigation. We have multiple investigators and attorneys assigned to it, and we're going to do a professional job.
Sounds fairly robust.
It's robust. It's a serious matter.
Back to Anthony Kern, who signed the fake elector document.
Can you tell me a little bit about
I can-
you signing that?
Yeah, we can probably talk.
Yeah?
Someday.
But what
Maybe
about
not.
now?
At every major turn of Arizona's 2020 election lie, you can spot him. The guy back there, that's Kern. This is a so-called election integrity hearing held by state Republicans on November 30th, 2020. Fashioned to look like an official hearing, it's not.
Hell yeah, get on the ground!
Weeks later, on January 6th, Kern traveled to the U.S. Capitol. In D.C., supporting Trump, he tweeted, where he was pictured in a restricted area of the Capitol steps during the riot. There's no indication he was violent or entered the Capitol, and he has not been charged in connection with January 6th. Later in 2021, as Arizona's most populous county, Maricopa, hand-counted all of his 2020 ballots in a partisan-led failed attempt to overturn the state election results, Anthony Kern was there again, counting ballots. We wanted to ask State Senator Kern about how all this began.
Can we talk about whether you knew that that was a lie, that document?
Why do you think it's a lie?
So do you believe that Trump still won in 2020 then?
Why would you think alternate electors are a lie?
Arizona was among 7 key swing states that saw fake electors sign documents to subvert the Electoral College process. Prosecutors have filed charges against some of their fake electors in 2 states, Michigan and Georgia. Prosecutors Arizona's AG says she's speaking with.
I have been in communication with both of those offices, and I'm not going to say any more than that.
With the Department of Justice, are you in communication with the Department of Justice?
Same answer. We have communicated with those offices, and I'm not going to say any more than that.
Have you spoken to the Department of Justice or the State Attorney General about
The only one I've spoken to is
investigation?
CNN.
We contacted all of Arizona's 11 alternate electors. Lorraine Pellegrino, secretary of the fake electors.
Hi, are you Lorraine?
Yes.
Hi, Lorraine. My name is Kyung-la. That's why I'm holding a microphone. I'm a reporter from CNN.
Okay, thank you.
I was hoping that we could talk.
She did not want to talk.
You don't want to answer anything about the alternate electors, ma'am?
Tyler Bauer, the COO of right-wing group Turning Point USA, ignored our calls and texts.
Tyler
Bauer.
Bauer?
Yeah.
He is not here today.
It's not in the office.
But his spokesman immediately called us after we went to the office to say he has not spoken to the DOJ or Arizona's AG's office.
I'm trying to reach Senator Hoffman. Is he available?
The rest of the 11 did not return our calls.
Hello, you reached Jim Langdon. Kindly leave me a voicemail.
We did reach Samuel Moorhead, Gila County, Arizona Republican Party leader.
How are you doing today, sir?
Oh, I'm fine, but I also know that I am in a position where it's not very prudent to talk to any member of the media for anything. Goodbye.
Oh, okay.
Arizona Attorney General Mays, a Democrat, says while she can't share too many details of her investigation, she said it is far reaching. Does your investigation potentially reach to Donald Trump?
So I'm not going to comment on that because that's sort of a part of the investigation. I'm not going to provide any sort of midstream updates on that. We will see where the facts lead us.
And Kyung La joins us. Now, how closely are Arizona officials following the fake electric case in Georgia?
Well, AG Chris Mays, she didn't get too specific in our interview, but let's remind everybody about the recent and stunning turns in the Georgia case. You have Ken Chesebro, who was the architect of the fake electors plot. He already pleaded guilty to felony conspiracy connected to the plot. And then you have former Trump Attorney General Ellis, who also pleaded guilty, and she pleaded guilty to aiding and abetting false statements about the election to Georgia's Senate. That is a felony. Now, whether or not that has a nexus or a connection to Arizona, at this point, we simply don't know because they are in the middle of their investigation in Arizona. We just have to see what the Attorney General decides.
Kyung La, thank you. Appreciate it.